expect from sports cars. I mean, my favorite sports car is definitely the 911. And either way, we're starting up. As there we have the buy from DJL, coming in with the smoke as well as that kit. It's a casual and very useful ninja kind of setup. First of all, there comes Barber with the utility towards the middle. So they're taking that mid control quite fast. It seems like those lads from Red Reserve are not having that on their radar. DJL now needs to strike with that USPS. Has that bit of information. Can find himself, as actually Relaxa finding himself one. The smoke that pops gives now DJL the opportunity to shoot through. Relaxa doesn't stop either way. And with that happening right now, it's only Hugo alive. Not quite sure if he has been exposed, but a single body shot. What is a headshot either way from Freddy Frog? As he secures himself 2 frags. And there we go. Alright, have a pause. And she says, "This caster sounds nice. Thank you very much. I'm trying to sound as nice, friendly, kind, and lovely as possible." Don't be confused about no game sound for a second. Alright. Was just checking a thing. Seems like we're good to go. 1-0. We have a little technical problem on the side of Singularity. As we're seeing right now. You know, someone probably can help me with this. Someone is going to be my magic assistant here. I know it's to be very fair, I've never watched Harry Potter, but I'm sure Harry Potter has some kind of assistants, dude. Someone says I talk like a German. That's an offense. I'm definitely not trying to talk like a German. I'm hiding it as much as I can. And I think I'm doing that quite well. How are you doing, Caster Flames ask, and I'm doing quite well. I had a free day today. I usually would have had university right now. And I said, you know, the funny thing is, and this is not a joke, literally not a joke, my topic right now, today, at this point in time at university, would be live commentating. And surprise, I would say, I'm kind of doing live commentating here, so it's a live exercise. And that live exercise is going to continue right now as we have the unpause. The TeamSpeak seems to be now working 100% fine for Singularity. And that brings us that one lovely situation. Red Reserve versus Singularity continuing. This time we're... Do we have another? I don't know. Unpause on the other side. Gives us a quick moment to take a look at it. Who's going to win? What you think? Difficult. It's very, very difficult. On the paper, Reserve has beaten Singularity on their own map pick twice. The best of 3 they had against Godsend. They looked a little shaky to the end on Overpass as well as Mirage. You got to say Red Reserve is not as good as Godsend, if you ask me, but it's still on a good level. Especially individual skill from Freddy Frog can become extremely handy right here. On the other hand, I'm actually a Singularity caster, kind of. I'm working for them partially. So I have to say, I don't know. I'm very excited for a great match. And that's pretty much it. Have fun coming in from Hugo. as this is probably the most Swedish way to say have fun, and as we're gonna have some fun with round number 2 right now. The 1-0 lead Red Reserve has gained as Singularity tried to sneak their way through middle silently towards Library. Didn't work out either way as DJL got the information there early enough to make it all possible for Red Reserve. So ZZ's coming down to Singularity, and those are logically the pistols you would hate to see as a CT, because they can do so much goddamn damage when there's the right user with that gun, and besides that, logically the right range. As right now, that focus is shifting onto the A side. The destination seems to be set at the moment, as it's going to be DJL as well as Batten holding themselves onto short with the UMP. Batten falling down. Not quite sure if that was an accident or not. Smoke should hold off Plopsky for a moment. The grenade does major damage here onto Benji, Rusty as well as Hugo. And that's an unfortunate start right here. At the 60-second mark, it needs to be Singularity now taking the aggression. As now Hugo starts to make those steps, and now those 45 ACP gun needs to do the work. Batten, he finds himself 1 and 2. Barbar shots are not 100% there, and there Rusty takes that ground. This is going to be the A side plant, with Pleasant probably not being announced yet. One to find Barbar still alive. That should have never happened right here. That M4 should have found at least both of those frags and was not able to do so. Which brings us down to a 2v2 with a bomb being planted by Singularity and time running away. Though Freddy Frog has that kit, it's not very comfortable. The situation Red Reserve is in. Relaxa finds himself 1 and 2 going in the corner. Can find himself that one as well. He needs to be fast right now. He jumps onto him and that diffuses. It's still in. Are those 5 seconds there for Freddy Frog to get it? It isn't. Unbelievable things we're seeing. 1-2-1, and it worked there. The ZZs and the time they bought right here, delivering the first one for the green and white. Didn't expect that to happen. And so it's going to be now Red Reserve playing with pretty much the same equipment Singularity had in the previous round. And showing off his butterfly rust coat, which is in my opinion not even a good skin. Who would buy something that is actually rusty? I need sitcom loves, you know. I need a button for a little bit of sitcom love there. Either way, .60 seconds left on the clock, and Benji taking a bit of ground right here. He's going down banana. He's baiting out the players to take a little bit more of an aggressive approach and not finding themselves anything at that point in time. Boost up onto the flower pots, but it's not helping them at that point in time, because right now Singularity are making that approach. Freddy Frog staying more likely around the corner, as the only useful gun right here might be the Max 7. It has a bit of a random factor sometimes, but Batten up on balcony. If he moves around the corner at the right time, he finds himself 1. Can't connect onto Rusty. Would have been so goddamn important, but only DJL to now do the job. And exactly doing that. I mean, Rusty needs to be that one-shot headshot, but Benji is an easy one-shot to the chest, and I think Rusty has the perfect angle to do so. As he exactly has that. With 60 HP, he survives. A single bullet he takes to his chest, but that's it for the moment. And Eco coming in from Red Reserve. And that Eco is bringing us right now probably to round number 3. Ganz gerät, I don't know what that means. Oh, that's probably, oh, Swedish lessons. That's probably Swedish for red. Not quite sure if it's with double T or D. But just, if anyone ever in Sweden asks you how many HP, say röd. Probably works. So Plopsky as he's the one carrying around one of the free Mac 10s. It's gotta be him moving in first together with Barbar. Best decision logically to let those submachine guns go in first, as Barbar is trying to take ground. That stack on the B side should be announced quite soon. Sneaky as he is, finds himself one, and there's the crossfire, allowing him to not go any further. But that should be now the announcement of the bomb. Rusty is approaching that A site without the bomb, interestingly enough. There he comes, Rusty going in first, lets his teammate carry it around. Plopsky's gonna get that thing down. And there we're gonna see Hugo trying his best to find one or two frags in the end, at least. I mean, with that Mac 10, it would be worth trying. So now check on the right and spray all the bullets into their players' chests. As they're actually building a tower, Plopsky runs in and finds himself the other two Hugo couldn't get. Flames. It's been, I think, 1.5 years. I don't know when I know I started back then with actually screaming into a mic on ESCA for fun, and then another guy, another German, joined me who speaks decent English, and suddenly we started casting together. But I got hooked. And being hooked right now, that's something Red Reserve needs to be hooked onto success. So you don't want to throw away that one round you got yourself. They unfortunately did already with a quite nice play with the ZZs here from Singularity. And as we're seeing it right now, Freddy Frog might find himself Hugo first of all, as the aggression, the counter-aggression could come in from him. Barbar is able to realize that Banana is clear and B-side control could be easier than expected, but nothing to run into yet. 1:10 is left on the clock, and so they're taking their short bit of time watching the Breitling, saying, okay, got a little, you know, chill. We're good. Or how the cool kids say, we're Gucci. And as Gucci as they are, Hugo's gonna pop that flashbang, assisting with one of his teammates. Coming out, and there on the top stands Pleasant. Perfectly coordinated here by Hugo as well as Rusty to find two of the three A-side players. Only Freddy Frog alive. He gets himself one. Connects onto Barbar as well. That's major damage he has done. Assisting Relaxa and DJL, who should at least try to do the job, because then it should be now realized that there's not actually too much time for Singularity left. It's perfectly, though, how Rusty stays. He comes around. Does DJL get... He gets anti-timed, basically. But Rusty finds himself that first one. Relaxa is not aware that one is behind him, so he pushes onto the site. He has no kit onto himself, and that just right now gives him barely any opportunity to go for that defuse. Take a look towards library, nothing coming, Benji to take out. But only a single bullet he takes, and that will be Singularity now finding themselves on the fourth. There's the pause coming in from DJL. A tactical timeout they're taking. Singularity on that 4-1. Probably quite happy about it. After they lost the first. As it was, I mean, I'm not quite sure how I felt about it. Because on the one hand, it was a little bit weird how they took that. Let's say like this, if you didn't join us, it was pretty much they were going through silently, nobody noticed, but then there was DJL in library. He got himself no frag. Relaxa was rotating back, I think, or coming from the A side. I'm not quite sure how he did it. But either way, that information from DJL towards library logically gave them a lot of help. And then Singularity, their push back from B got fully denied by a good CT pistol setup. I saw a few guys actually back in the chat betting a lot of money. I hope you choose loot bet to bet a lot of money. As a 2-0 from Singularity, I mean, it is very possible. When we especially take a look at recent results from both of the teams, I personally feel like that taking down Enjoy 2-0, for example, for Red Reserve is not the best of a result. And then recently they struggled a little offline at the Pets.net Masters, where they didn't play with DJL, if I'm not totally wrong, by the way. So Virtus Pro, Hellraisers, and Spirit all have taken out Red Reserve, while Singularity could secure victories recently against Without Warning and Existence, whilst losing against Avantgarde, AGO, and Godsend. On each of those best of threes, though, they won at least a single map, so a 2-0 is possible. A 2-0 seems to be kind of hard to achieve. I don't know how you feel about it, but I can't imagine that will be a little bit harsh, hard, and problematic. Either way, 4-1 ZZs that are right now here in the hands of Red Reserve. And that's right now on the other side of the map. We're seeing Freddy Frog finding himself Barbar. In the refrag, that worked out, but Benji has a good kind of positioning where Freddy Frog doesn't look, and so he picks up a frag. With now DJL hiding himself in the corner. Logically, Rusty's expecting that. With that expected, 2 more alive. So it all goes around with Batten as well as Pleasant, maybe finding Plopsky at least. The long-range duel with the ZZ is usually not that successful, but with that right now, with that bit of HP left onto Plopsky, that could work out 100% fine. So it will be 5-1 Red Reserve, seeing Singularity kind of running away with this. Their wallets are filled enough, especially as the losing bonus is reaching its maximum up next. DJL worrying enough, down to 0-6. And that 0-6 is not really satisfying, to say it like that. Because DJL, though he's IGL, and we know back 2015 Fnatic where you had Pronax never fragging really, and he had 4 great players around him, which he basically coordinated. This is not the case 100% for Red Reserve. Freddy Frog is an insane fragger. As, you know, statistically speaking, he's on the top with 1.22 rating, 87 maps played in the past 3 months, and he's done an amazing job. But I'm not quite sure if I will see that happening if, like, one player consistently doesn't step up. As a little trivia for you, DJL is partially Croatian, partially Swedish. He has a Croatian as well as a Swedish passport, if I'm not totally wrong, and speaks both languages. So now you know more about Red Reserve. Getting into Singularity, though, you see Plopsky taking a lot of ground. But Relaxa is actually missing the flick. That should be the information given away. They're rotating back. That's a very interesting move, because only right now, for the moment, one single individual is back on the site of a Barbar. Tries to not only IGL, but also lurk around, limiting movement for anyone who wants to come from CT. And so the focus shifts over to Batten as he finds himself one, but can't connect onto Rusty. DJL now needs to be quick and finally finding frags, as not only the first flashbang is successful, but also the second. Now going back onto the site behind the coffins. He's staying in the flames, finding himself Benji. It was actually one of the teammates extinguishing the flames partially, which gave DJL the advantage to not 100% die by the flames there in the end. And so Freddy Frog and the team, they don't have a kit to be picked up at that point in time. The re-smoke coming in, and so the time pressure is right now here with Plopsky standing perfectly. And he's that individual who just performs, and there he does with one. Relaxa to find, flashbang to pop, the nade to be hit. But either way, the 15-year-old can't find it in the end. 2 versus only actually 1. Barber can't find himself. DJL and holds up that plant in the end. No kit to find. Singularity with the 6th. As Red Reserve tries and tries and tries, but the boundaries are too high. It's a little like hurdling, where actually those guys from Red Reserve, they get themselves on quite good speed, but they can't get really over the hurdles. They're like trying to, but always failing a little in the end, unfortunately. Five-man hurdling with Red Reserve, and the hurdles are actually called Singularity, funny otherwise, with the big white as well as green on that hurdles. But Batten has a good positioning right now to take them down, in case anyone pushes so close to them. The default most of the time right now for Singularity is at A side. Talking about it, Freddy Frog finds himself one. Can't connect on anymore. Rusty as well as Hugo have 100% awareness. And that off from Relaxa, not doing its job right. 7-1. Singularity seems to just run away with this. And that actually quite easily. Not too much of a big deal, not too much of a problem. Rusty and Co doing it right. Especially Rusty, who has played a Red Reserve on the top with a 4.0 KDR. DJL 118. That's not satisfying. Batten and Pleasant, though, they're finally satisfying. Barbar finds himself a refrac at least. And he's being sandwiched right now. A little bit of a change in the setup. He's doing the job for the moment. Plopsky getting himself at least Batten. Man equalized situation restored. And Barbar praying to not be called out by those shots going down Banana. Probably wouldn't feel comfortable at least when suddenly shots are raining and raining and raining onto you. Freddy Frog could hear the steps of Plopsky. He's aware. Information now to the guys of his teammates. And Barbar can't find it. Freddy Frog with 2 and the single man alive is Hugo, who could be caught out if he hits the right timing. Check your clock, relax it. It's quarter past peak, but quarter past peak doesn't seem to be existent right now for him. Hugo might be able to retrieve that bomb and find himself Freddy Frog, but here's not Freddy Frog. Seems to be accurate enough. Hugo finds himself that frag at least. 30 more seconds. He has the money to do it either way. He can't just try to find himself on any aggressive position. Relaxa would be the perfect victim for him, and Hugo, 20 more seconds, doesn't have really much time. Is he gonna hide in the tunnel? Hugo, no. Hugo's really not trying it. 8 more seconds. No, he does try it and takes the op, baits it out. Yeah, and there's nothing else than a round number 2 for Red Reserve coming in. Pause coming in from Pleasant, and a technical problem, excuse me. What was it this time? And Batten Tiama sounds like Batten timeout. Maybe I should become a Swedish translator. I don't know what the chat thinks, but yeah. Batten Tiama. I don't know much about Swedish. I know back when I was in the team house with Singularity, I mean, back at Copenhagen Games, they all lived in a house together, including me. And I remember Hugo and I think it was Barbar always making that joke with Kniek there, but I have no idea what they actually were talking about. Like, I seriously don't... I think it has some kind of sexual reference, but... the hell do I? And then they said something in Swedish, which I translated. I'm not gonna say it on stream, but it was very worrying. Actually, it was very worrying. Especially as Plopsky is just 15 years old. You shouldn't hear those words, right? Germany, he would actually not be allowed to play this game, by the way. Just by law, of course. It's a little bit sad in Germany. Because if you're 16 years old and you're coming, for example, to ESL 1 Cologne with your parents, you're not allowed to go in due to those rules in Germany. Lemel writing is cutest caster. Thank you very much. I'm gonna very, very unobvious, you know, very, you didn't even notice that I did it. Kinda secretly, I'm putting in my Twitter, and there you see even a picture of me. There's like all social media. It's incredible, right? I love the 21st century. I love Twitch. I love bots. I love everything. I don't love 8 bots, don't get me wrong. GNF, take a lot of care. Yeah, I know that the great thing about Sweden, which I love so much, and about Scandinavia in general, if you didn't know, most of the TV shows which are produced in America or somewhere else are actually in English with Danish subtitles. I think it was they're in English with the subtitles of Sweden or Denmark or so. And that was actually kind of cool, because then the people learn actually the language and still are able to understand it. I'm getting a little off topic, I'm aware of it, but I just wanted to let you know that's a cool thing. Either way. Seeing each other right now in the eyes of success or failure it is right now for Red Reserve as well as the opponent. Oh, it's Rusty. Finds himself back onto DJ Alden. Benji, was that actually successful? No, it wasn't, just a millimeter away from actually finding that player. Rusty finding Relaxa, and fully relaxed Freddy Frog stands behind that corner. As right there Rusty stands. I'm not quite sure how aware he is. And as there are now only 40 seconds left on the clock, there needs to be that call coming in from Barbar. To find themselves a decision, Plopsky with one good frag, Batten to only get, but that UMP is successful for the moment. Can find himself Hugo as well. And so it will be only down to Rusty to use those 25 seconds to nade logically blocks him movement-wise and makes him an easy target, with Batten securing a triple, the defender of the A site. Covered in blue and yellow, saving Red Reserve that number 3. And that logically puts your buffer economically down to a minimum right now. You see the maximum 1.5 onto Barbar. It doesn't really help you in the following up rounds, of course. That bombing. Pinning Pleasant down. He's moving back. He's not interested in having any more aggression there. As his wallbangs are not crowned with success. Singularity here focusing back onto that A site. We're seeing Batten, Pleasant, as well as Freddy Frog. Nate's coming deep onto Barbar. It's making this live a little bit harder, as Singularity already yesterday against Godson showed us that they're doing extremely delayed plays. That flashbang doesn't work in the end. Freddy Frog can find himself either frags. Benji to take out. Plopsky coming from the balcony. So Relax and DJL gotta do the job where that wall bangs. And those shots for the smoke are successful enough. DJL on his own. His position not seems to be exposed. As Barbar realizes so and is able to take him out. Singularity to secure up the half. 8-3 it is. Unpositives. Their console telling us Singularity have 4 tech pauses remaining. Let's check again. Red Reserve. Only 2. Did he say it was tech? A Barbar 2 techs per halva. Which probably is 2 techs per half, 4 per map. It's a very interesting language. That weird Swedish. I always say, when I was in Denmark at least, it sounds a little bit like reverse German. And someone said, Danish sounds like drunk Swedish. I know. It's all weird. But they're taking their time. And their time they're taking is something Red Reserve should be able to realize. They can't really figure a way, though, to beat Singularity at that point in time. Concentration might be not 100% on point. I can tell you what it is. For Relaxer, first of all, he's finding himself Barbar. The time is once more ticking low, and the B-side focus now needs to be executed quite fast, because otherwise Rosti and his team are falling short at that point in time. DJL can hold them off. And with that happening, there now the steps are coming in. The weakest player on the side of Red Reserve, staying back alone on the B-side, falling short. Pleasant. It's not a pleasant view right now, you could say, for Red Reserve. And so it's got to be the bomb blowing up in a second. That B-site successful enough. Once more to secure them. Just another round, and that Plopsky is even finding himself another frac. 9-3. And Nico coming in right now for Red Reserve. And I think that is really kind of tilting at that point in time. And just to keep you updated real quick, Singularity have played against Red Reserve on this map. Both times they've lost. Right now it looks far away from a loss coming in from the team of Barbar, as so far they're striking very, very successfully. Now it comes to Relaxa coming in from behind, finding himself one, can't connect onto another, a double, he's actually retrieving. Just in a matter of seconds, players falling left, right, and center, and double digits are secured. That was hella fast. Danish sounds like you have your potato full, your mouth full of a potato. Interesting. No, I don't think so. But I don't really know much about them. I think I should take Danish lessons and then I could cast in Danish. Kappa. Either way, Swedish side of Singularity is showing us so far a definitely strong performance. It was pretty much on the same level satisfying when they played against Godsend on this certain map. Seems like it's an easy task for Rusty and co, but as we're talking about them, DJL and Relax are finding Benji and Rusty, bringing it down to just that 3 versus 5. And once that smoke fades, Relaxa will have a kind of an idea. But first of all, okay, realizing, and there's the block movement. Now back on the side is Batten, who needs to hold them off. Hugo can rotate away. Barbar's taken out of the game. Same goes for Plopsky. He can't secure a triple, and Hugo runs away with still 76 HP left. It's going a little hard right here. Relaxa has a good positioning at that point in time to find once Hugo is popping his head out of there. There comes the move. Bomb being picked up. A shot to the back. Relaxa doing it like James Bond. No one notices, and it's working either way. I think Danish is not a disease. No, that's really harsh. I think it's actually kind of a cool language. It's just weird to listen to. So I definitely disapprove with you. 100%. Don't say that again. And don't talk to my children or me again. Talking about that, Rusty, he doesn't want to see anyone right now together with Benji. Early entries, Rusty on a single point of health. Oh, and Batten nearly hitting the wrong timing right here. Hugo's gonna move out either way. Fully blind he is. He's gonna lose his head. Same goes for Benji. Barbar cleans up that side of A. And through library, Fred Frog's gonna come in. Shots nearly ripping off the head. Plopsky might hit the right timing here to take down DGL, but first of all, as exactly this is happening, Rusty tapping away, finding himself Freddy Frog. Gotta love it. A tough pill to swallow it would be for Red Reserve, as they're right now not on the scene, are not forearmed, their initial situation is not looking good, and there's nothing really you can grant them. That 4-11 scoreline is not the strongest, but statistically speaking, they're switching over on their site, which they're a good bit better on. Just waiting for the ready. As both sides not there yet. Maybe a little bit of technical problems. We had a lot of them, so that's one thing. But we have to take a look at Rusty though. 17-7. That's just an insane scoreline he has been picking up. And Lemel asking a legit question. Can I ask how your voice was after Copenhagen Games final? To just give the viewers who don't know a little bit of an idea, I was actually kind of coaching the female team of Singularity, who in the end won Copenhagen Games female. And as I was coaching them, I was screaming a lot. You know, I was screaming a hell lot, of course. And, well, to say it like this, I had a flight on the following day of Copenhagen Games at 7 AM. I couldn't go for that flight. And I was actually sick 3 days after Copenhagen Games. It was quite hard. I had weird fever dreams. I never know if you have ever had fever dreams, but fever dreams are literally the worst. I'm talking about the worst. Red Reserve may be thinking that this is a fever dream. And as we're at it, Singularity now back on the site of the CTs with a 3-man base setup. Kind of unusual. I usually see 3 people staying towards the side of A, but they got their sense to it. Rusty rotating over, now rotating back as nothing comes in. That's a usual kind of thing to see, actually, Borrow having ZZ and armor. Setup. Very, very normal. Now Pleasant getting himself into this. Plopsky and Rusty trying to make some shots work. There comes the boost. And so it could be Plopsky finding himself a few. He does that together with Hugo. Jumps around the corner and Benji does it either way. Oh, that was coordination on point here from Singularity as they're moving around the corner, doing it all right. And so it's got to be 12-4 thrice amount of rounds in favor of Singularity, who even got themselves a quite decent buy there as well. Just to remind you though, Red Reserve was actually winning that pistol round, also on the CT side. And then the ZZs around Singularity were very successful. Red Reserve in that scenario having Deagles instead of that. As right now, Batson tries to exactly take that close range tool. He's not going to find him anything right now. The only problem I see about that Deagle setup, it doesn't allow you to buy that head armor, which easily puts you in a headshot situation, as submachine guns are lethal, tiny bits, spraying bullets quite fast. Talking about it though, Pleasant getting himself Rusty. Over long, Pleasant goes and gets himself that entry. It might get a little problematic. Barbar rushing back onto the site, as it nearly got a little gnarly here for him, but now he comes back. Oh, and Freddy Frog rips his head off brutally, but the rotation right now coming in. Hugo has to check the right corner. DJL has the right of idea, and Singularity might be taking and giving this away to Red Reserve. As for some reason, the aggression is not always necessary. Not sure if Benji has been spotted, but if Batten hits the right timing, it all will become so difficult. And there he hits that right timing. Plopsky going over to the A site. The best initial situation, it isn't. Far away from that. As an M4 and 2 UMPs are there on to the Red Reserve side. A simple body shot, making it work. Plopsky finding himself Pleasant. Amolo forcing Batten out. And Plopsky not expecting Batten to come up so wide. And that will give us Red Reserve the 5th. Deja vu, I would say. Never see Freddy Frog having a bit of ping issues. Happens. So we get ourselves another break. I think it's the fourth break in total. It's actually a good bunch of breaks we're having so far. Don't be worrying, we're still here. I don't know what you guys think right now. I mean, the first game right here gives us a quite good picture of how good Singularity are on Inferno. And Lemel asking, can I ask, what is your next big project? I have no idea. I legitimately have no single clue. I always let, I'm trying hard, I'm working on casting, I'm trying to improve, of course, and hope better opportunities are coming as you improve and improve, as you get yourself on a higher and better level, consistently get yourself out of there, Because one thing that life has taught me is very simple. Things don't come at you. You gotta make it work. That goes for gaming. It goes for casting. It goes for everything. At least, that's what I think. Some might say, when you have rich parents, you don't need to do a thing. That's true, but I think the feeling of success, the feeling of that you have built something up by yourself, is quite cool. And as we're waiting right now, if you're wondering, Freddy Frog has a little bit of a ping issue, which puts us in that little break situation we're having right here. It's like, I think the fourth, I've said it already, it's the fourth break we're having at this. As we had like a TeamSpeak problem. And then TeamSpeak problem advancing to now a ping problem. It's worse. It's the worst. Things happen, That's the kind of stuff you sometimes see in online Counter-Strike, and so we gotta wait for Freddy Frog. And I think, if I remember correctly, there was actually one time when Red Reserve had DJL having a big ping issue, and that big ping issue caused actually that Red Reserve needed a stand-in as DJL couldn't connect to the server. Then he went into coach position, as DJL used to be a coach, by the way, and then he went back to playing actually. Production, thank you very much for the nice words. And Oreo, let me answer your question. It's the Audio Technica BPHS1 and a few filters put onto OBS. Hope that answers your question. Unpause if ready. And relaxa, Mini-Katastrophen is probably Danish for tiny catastrophe. That's at least what I see there. I mean, my Danish is, excuse me, my Swedish is not the best, 100% not, but I think that should be about right. That's at least what my brain is comprehending when it says Mini-Katastrophen. And Mini-Katastrophen sounds a lot like that. At least it would work in German. But we're about to start soon. Oklat semme iga. Kom hem, vi bøder om igen. Vi glemmer alt. No idea what that guy is trying to say. English. Okay. It's a Swedish song. Barbar was quite funny back on LAN. I remember that. It was actually quite hilarious. I'm not quite sure. I think Party was the funniest probably, but we're not going in detail there. We're also keeping it family friendly. We are a family friendly stream, right? We're family friendly people. We're good human beings, and a great setup. There you see So ready to continue. Bauer says they're checking if they actually have issues, I think. It sounds very German. Because the Germans, you know, there's this, I think there's one advertisement of a German translation group. And the German translation group, they make it like this, right? They make it like this. You see German Coast Guards, and there's a British ship sinking, and the British ship says, Coast Guard, we're sinking. And then the German guy and the Coast Guard officer says, what are you thinking about? Because the Germans, they have a major issue saying thinking. Germans, they sink. So, a classic one. You gotta love the Germans. I really love the countrymen, but it's a weird language sometimes. Either way, finally our technical pause has been restored back to life. The status of the game is hot, and so it's gonna be Singularity. Who right now need to find a way to come back to the state they used to have. I know it's only 2 rounds they have been actually down. But it's just those ZZs they used to make it work with a few times. They might be able to do that again, because Plopsky's standing there close to the corner. Could have a good positioning. His accuracy most of the time is quite on point, but he's standing there alone, and that's making him such an easy target for those players of Red Reserve coming around the corner in a bit. And as they're waiting, and waiting, Plopsky's getting flashed. He just waits it out. 50 more seconds. Patience this young guy has. 15 years he's old and a talent. Right now does a mistake. Unfortunately, a little too wide he goes. And Benji, as he only has 24 bullets, he needs to save them and tries to keep himself in the game without taking any damage. He has full armor. And so all of the players are going to keep it. It's no big problem, because what is happening right here is Rusty and the rest of the team got themselves full armor. Rusty shouldn't take a bit of damage, because otherwise he will lose that bit of body armor. If he loses a bit of body armor, he needs to invest $1,000 instead of $350 to full armor. And to our Russian friends, by the way, who are writing in the chat, we're having a Russian stream at Starladder as well. Just check on HLTV and you'll find the official Russian stream of Red Reserve versus Singularity with your Russian casters. Either way, 6-12, Red Reserve stepping up a bit as Relaxa, Batson, and Co. find themselves successful with the weaponry. Singularity going for another one of those ecos. At that point in time, Rusty and Co might find themselves at least a few frags here. That would be nice to have, nice to watch, and nice to get, but at that point in time, it looks like there's not much more happening. That round probably working out in favor of the Red Reserve guys, but so Freddy Frog comes in first, could get himself taken out, not gonna happen. First of all, as Rusty had to move away, he finds himself Freddy Frog, and that just means that he could find himself more. Barber does that as well, and Batson as well as Pleasant are the only two alive. Incredibly enough. The problem that might occur is right now only Benji as the last defender of the A side. He hears the stabs, he stays in the corner. Batson is going to check it sooner. He finds himself Pleasant and only Batson alive, which now makes it also possible. Keep it patient, keep your cool. Plopsky's not going to fake and believe in that fake. Finds himself not Batson. Incredible stuff we're seeing from both of those teams. And Barber checking the wrong corner. Batson does it. He clutches it out with a 4K. And giving Red Reserve a bit more air to breathe. And also quiet, nicely filled wallets. Singularity, a round they should have never gotten either way. A round where they should have never found themselves so many frags. But as we're seeing it, 4 killed on the Red Reserve site, laying 6 feet under the ground. And remember, Singularity only had CZs. Singularity got themselves now those decent rifles secured and back in their hands. On the other hand, the Red Reserve took a lot of ground towards Banana. A good bit of space they have now claimed as their territory, and the smoke leaving a gap here in favor of Freddy Frog. And I think you heard those stabs from Barber. He went in the corner to listen a little bit towards CT. And probably that could be not so decisive, though, as Relaxes moving on the other side. With an AWP in hand and a bomb on his back. Now they're trying to sell the fake towards the B sites. Only Freddy Frog is going to make noise, so they're going to stick to that B site play as Barber and his team not having any information. It comes down pretty much to Rusty. Oh, timing must be in his favor. Finds himself DGL. 1 frag secured. Pleasant to get. And not a very pleasant adventure right here for Rusty, but the players standing back onto the A side as Relaxa has to do together with Pleasant. They're pretty much caught up in a cage. Whilst Barber loses his head. And Plopskin, who go rotating off. It looked easier yesterday against Godsons, but you have to say it like this, right? And you have to see it like this as well. Singularity, when they played against Godson, they were against Roland and the Co. They had a strong start on the T sites, and they also struggled a little on the CT sites. So it seems like when it comes down to defending, they're strategically not as strong as they are on the terrorist site. And there's another pause coming in. Another ping issue. Freddy Frog once more on 64. It seems like those pauses are gonna come over and over and over again. As the ping from Freddy Frog doesn't seem to be anyhow fixed or better. Logically, a big shout out to Lootbed, GeForce, and Twitch, making the Starladder and iLeak also possible. Legend says that for every pause, Zesh will post a nutty meme on Twitter. I have to be very honest, Yelemo. It's been a while since I've posted nutty memes. I used to have really good memes. I really had some hella decent memes. I mean, I had a picture 22 hours ago where with a Russia jacket. So I think no, it doesn't count as a meme. It 100% doesn't count as a meme. I'm taking a look over it right now, and I see I haven't posted memes in a while, and I'm disappointed off myself. I did, actually. On 6th of April, which is 10 days ago, I kind of did an okay meme, and then the one... Okay, on the 5th of April, that was a really good one. And it's impossible you win access to the map pick of Singularity. And I think Freddy Frog says something with stand-in, and stand-in is probably an international word we can all translate into our own language, which basically means that we're probably having, due to the ping issues, something changed the setup for the moment of the guys of Red Reserve. Frosty's saying, alright, probably he's agreeing on it, not quite sure about it. It feels like that kind of ping. The ping problem is really, really there. I mean, this is, I think, pause number 5 or 6. We're not stopping with the pauses, so if you just joined, usually, I'm just telling you a story, you know, it's no biggie. I'm usually not reading chat during casting, and it's not my type of style, but I've taken a look on the mainstream of Starladder, who are right now broadcasting another game, and I've seen Tombiz is talking a bit with the chat, so I said to myself, you know, today's Monday, you had a great day, you enjoyed it, and why not try to find the mixture between talking to the people who are on chat and also casting good? I mean, I would say I'm doing a good job casting, but I'm not sure if I do. I guess so. I'm always working on it. I'm feeling confident with it. And confidence is all you need in your life. Sometimes. Ping issues don't make it better, though. That's an unfortunate thing. Chris Hansen asks me, shouldn't you be in school? No. Though my voice is, I know, quite comparatively high. I'm in university, and in university, you can sometimes skip classes if you feel like it. And today, funny-wise, I would have had a class called live commentating, and I skipped the class of live commentating for, surprise, surprise, live commentating. Funny, isn't it? When you should live commentate, you're live commentating. Life's ironic sometimes. Ni kan inte spela med SIF. Han under contract. So I think Barbar says that they could not play with Safe, who used to play at Singularity, because they still have them on a contract. And otherwise they probably get a problem with the boss. Shout out to Atle. That's at least how I read it. I don't know. And Caster noticed this. Of course I did. What role would you play and why in CS? Good question. You know, I'm not a good fragger. I'll be very honest with you. I'm not the best of a fragger. And as I'm not the best of a fragger, I probably would go for something support or IGL. I guess. That's something that sounds good to me. Who is having ping problems? It is unfortunately Freddy Frog. He used to have 60 ping, he's back on 50. He doesn't want to play with it. Maybe there's actually a lot of package loss with that 50 ping. I could imagine that is one of the problems. What uni course are you doing? I'm studying journalism. Actually, yeah. I do that most of the time. You are a bad boy, aren't you? No, I'm not. I'm a good boy. I don't feel like, you know, skipping one class is fine, I would say. Especially if live commentating is the class I would have taken right now, for the moment. And if you're wondering, what the hell is that guy actually talking about? What the hell are we doing here? And why are we talking about good boys? Well, I don't speak Swedish. The thing is, though, that we're having a little bit of a pause. And so, as they are searching for a stand-in, we're waiting as well. And whilst we're waiting, we'll actually try to take a look at the standings of the entire tournament. Firefox unfortunately says it needs an update, so I got kind of bamboozled here. It's a sad story about Red Reserve, by the way, here, is that their best player is having ping issues. This is why we're having a break right now. They're looking for a stand-in who's suitable, and then they're trying to find a suitable stand-in, but I think that will be kind of hard for them to do so. Let's take a look, by the way, at the invited teams of that lovely, lovely tournament we're having ourselves right here. And as we see, Godson, Kingwin, Red Reserve, Singularity, and Group A, Wendigo, AGO, Extatus, and Sprout. Sprout already lost. And sad story. They had to play with 2 stand-ins though. And when we take a look at it, real quick, interestingly enough, come on. Results, there we go. 2-0, and that is the reason that Sprout played with 2 stand-ins. Icon as well as Cycron they need to play with. Not the best situation if you have to switch out 2, as unfortunately Crystal as well as Innocent couldn't play. There are a few rumors going around Innocent switching to an international team, whilst actually Sprout posted on Twitter that he's still on a contract and still playing for that roster. So yeah, that's how it is. Minus 20 round difference, hold on. That's actually a good bunch. How did the maps go? 16-5 and 16-7, that's... Oh man, oh man, oh man. That's not satisfying. Either way, you might be wondering why you have to see my face, and you might be wondering what we're actually waiting for. Unfortunately, we got Freddy Frog ping issues. We have a player somehow now finally joining the server. I think it's Crates. Stuckers to something. And DJL asks, is it possible to give Freddy's money to Kreese? We're directly popping back into the game. Well, we just wanted to we want to make sure that you are entertained enough, and well, we're going to see how entertained you are right now. We're switching directly back at it. As back in the game, take a look at it. Crates has joined. Freddy Frog is probably going to go into coach or respected position very soon. This asking, what is your shirt? I have no idea. I don't remember it. I don't remember even where I bought it. I really don't remember it, but we have to wait a little bit. Console, which is the admin, saying we can transfer the money over from Freddy Frog to Kreese. And taking a look at it, Rasmus Johansson, that's actually Kreese's real name, has played at Red Reserve as a stand-in already, back at Asterion, back at Godsend, and also in a few mixed teams here and there. Interestingly enough, can't really see him perform in any of those teams for a long-term time. And to get a little bit more in the standings, I mean, he had a good average rating throughout all the maps he has played as a stand-in or in some kind of mixed teams, 1.07. And so far, what he has played in is actually a quite decent LAN rating back in 2017, as he used to... That's a good question. Where did he play on LAN? Let me check that. LAN. matches. For Red Reserve, of course, of course, Creets used to stand in at the backstop that Masters. My memory, Jesus. Where he played there together with the roster. And as we're waiting it out, you might be wondering, we had a ping issue with one of the players. Red Reserve switched now to the guy they went to the backstop Masters with. Just Creets. 8-12. They're on the track to get back into the game. Not quite sure if Singularity now lost a bit of their momentum, or they're actually feeling refreshed. We'll see about it. And I'm learning Swedish right now. Batten seems to mean boat. I have no idea why would you call yourself boat, but Batten is boat, obviously. Or maybe just a Swedish prank and it isn't actually boat. No, it doesn't give me a translation. Batten doesn't say boat. I don't know, man. I'm not good enough with this. Either way, the game should be now finally starting back at it. 8-12 is our scoreline. Relaxa says ready. Now we're only waiting for Singularity to give us that call. Hugo needs a sec. I'm not quite sure what actually is happening actually there. Maybe a toilet break. Someone says Batten is actually called botten. Goddamn Swedish, I tell you. Languages. I'm actually okay with languages. I mean, English is okay with me, and German is the mother tongue, but I never understood Swedish or anything. Either way. The lag we had was actually a 50 to 60 ping on Freddy Frog. He disconnected, and now it is gonna be Creets standing in for him. 8-12. And Singularity might be able to now close that chapter. Or rather, fall short and give Red Reserve a few more rounds here and there. We're alive. Round number 21. Singularity versus Red Reserve on map number 1. And I'm very excited to see what will happen just right here. As gonna be Hugo playing it together. There with Plopsky. Has the height advantage, gets taken out. His shots are connected, but not finding the actual frag. And Hugo's making the cartwheel with weapons right there. Bringing an M4 as deep back as possible to Benji. Very smart move, actually, off him. It's so pleasant. He also finds Rusty. Barber shoots a little too early, so that will now just mean information to the A house play of Barber given away to the opponent. Doesn't really matter for Red Reserve. They're focusing back on the B sites. And our map number 1 might be ending tighter than expected. Barbar finds himself a frag onto Pleasant, switches over, gets himself a free AK, and now there might be the rotation back on that site of B, as this seems to be now the destination, quite obvious. Flashbang, not making it work. Benji gotta do it, finds himself one, could peek wide, but his position is announced. 14 more seconds, connects on one, but it's not happening! DGL with 5 points of health is not a victim of those bullets coming there from Benji. Luckily enough, he survives. Nearly finding that round. And so it's gotta be The monster Benji back in his cage with cuffs on his hands as he's not allowed to go further than what we have just seen. 9-12, 3 rounds difference it is. And so Red Reserve, keeping that focus up high and still highly there to get themselves a map on the opponent's pick. Red Reserve kind of plays it similar. As they're also taking a slow approach. Plopsky can find himself that frag in the end. Forty more seconds left on the clock. Red Reserve similar to Singularity, doing it very, very late. There they come, and there it will be. Now the aggression from Red Reserve. With one player lurking, which is Batten, back on the side of A, but it doesn't help. Rusty finding him a shot through the smoke. Connecting onto his second and 13th. Now back there onto Singularity. Surprising, as right now Red Reserve seem to gain that momentum. Though they're playing with that standing crease at that point in time due to technical issues on the side of Freddy Frog, which he's probably trying to fix right now. But that economy from Red Reserve, not strong. And internet again. Pause number 7693. And I'm not quite sure. Was it this time? Benji moves? Okay, it's not gonna be Benji. Oh, okay. We got no problems anymore. Unpause coming in from Barbar. Someone with 10 loss. I understand Swedish if you didn't know. With that now happening, Pleasant gets himself that entry. Rusty throwing that nade deep, relax it down in just 20 seconds. Both sides lost already 2 players. Plopsky will take a lot of the B aggression going down banana. Rusty might hit the right timing there into Pleasant. He's throwing, and he actually does it perfectly. And Rusty with 5 points of health. The Flames are not taking him out. The Inferno close, but not too close. And as Plopsky has taken a lot of ground towards Banana, the rotation from Hugo is mandatory as one of the teammates is low on HP. Now the last 40 seconds have started. Rusty finding himself the IGL. But Barbar, the IGL, taken out of the game. And Rusty with 5 points of health shows big balls trying to make that frag back on the site. So it's got to be down to Hugo, Plopsky, and the one who's low in HP, which is Rusty. The smoke blocking him off momentarily, but Reed seems to have the kind of right idea. Checks it around the corner, can't find himself Rusty, who gotta be quick, and now the final one is found. Botton is taken out of the game. That is gonna be a little bit of economic advantage Red Reserve got themselves due to the plant, but not too much. 3,500, 3,800. That's not satisfying at all. They could buy themselves logically a bit of armor and a ZZ, which could be the right tools to kill, but doesn't feel that way. Now, so CZs, we had it throughout the entire game, actually. Showing us why they should need a little tweak here and there. That should look 100% on. That should look 100% on, and there, Barber, as once we're taking the aggression and look for a second. It looked for a second like he was walking into his own flames. And with that happening, ZZs are only down to 4, Relaxa down in the grave, and so Barber has to hit the right angle. Flashbang is not making his life any easier. The players are coming here only towards Plopsky. So Benji got to be aware, and the opponent even having the issue, more likely the guys of Singularity having the issue that the opponent now picked up that certain M4. 39 more seconds, a decision has to be made on the Red Reserve site. Time pressure can be very, very uncomfortable. And as Rusty's checking towards T-spawn, he's not going to find himself anything. Rotating towards A, though, might be not the right decision. Benji could call it very soon. He hears the steps, flashbang. Not working it out. Pleasant taken out of the game. Benji doesn't stop. A double he secures. Not the triple. He's getting down to 18 HP, being haunted by the bomb carrier Creeds, who's gonna stay back in construction. Pick up that M4. Trying his best, but Benji denies. He's the lone defender back on B. And that lone defender is not interested in any Red Reserve aggression. Perfectly done. The beast off its leash. Strike and fries. Making it possible. And there's 3 times those 3 frags he got himself. Now brings Singularity just around the way from success on map number 1, where they've picked it already in the past, quite often showed a good bunch of strength. A bit of shaky though on the CT site, but either way, Benji back to hitting shots and doing that one wallbang. It was already beautiful to watch. Plopsky now to do it. Can't find himself that frag onto Relaxa though. Most of the time he's on point. This map doesn't seem to be his right now. Alexa down to 19, Creeds to 72. But a man less on the side of Singularity. Firepower decreased due to the death of Plopsky. Red Reserve, that's pretty much very similar to Singularity setups on the T side. Very late, very explosive, and then very, very fast. Reacting very late though, talking about it. Whitey speaks and Whitey peeks. Can't find himself one, can't find himself Batten. Beautifully done. Amalo, he's not going to throw at that point in time, and Benji hit off guard. Unfortunately, though, the bomb in their hands, and Relaxa down to just 12. Actually, sorry, 18 points of health. The CT site is successful for Singularity. And there we're at it. With our first one going in favor of the green and the white. Barbar and his boys are finishing off successfully on Inferno after 12,693 technical pauses. We're back at it. Had our first map secured. Chapter is closed. The next one is called Overpass. How it will go, how it will be, and if Red Reserve is actually able to secure themselves at least one map, We're going to figure that out. First of all, we're going to take a little break. We'll just be right back here at Starladder CSEN2. My name is Sesht. Take a little break. Grab yourself something to eat and drink, because the next one, that might be way, way too interesting.